Good afternoon. Today in this video, I'm going to go over how to download the listing presentation from mycbstar.com from the documents library and how to insert the market update reports inside the listing presentation. So this is combining two materials that you're going to find both in CBStar and our Bay office system. So I'm here at mycbstar.com, ready to log in to my dashboard. So as you know, all of our marketing materials are under the files section in the documents library. So we're actually going to download and combine two separate materials. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the marketing assets and go to the listing presentations. In theory, you could probably put this report in lots of things, but it specifically has a place for it in the listing presentation. All of these are available in Adobe PDF and also in PowerPoint. If you have a full version of Adobe, then download the PDF ones because that's the easiest way to print booklets. If you don't have the full version of Adobe, you only have Adobe Reader, then please download the Microsoft pop-ups. Please download the Microsoft PowerPoint version. You can make all of the edits in PowerPoint and then you can convert it to a PDF file and then you can print it out in booklet form. So I'm going to show how to do this in PowerPoint form. So over here, we're going to click on the listing presentation, these three little dots, and we're going to click download. That's going to download it straight to my downloads file. When that is done, we're going to back out of here and go over to the most recent market update reports that were just sent out. And that's going to be back here, still in the documents library under files documents library, the CBPRE monthly market updates. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to scroll down to the most recent month, which is September 2021. So in here, there is all of the digital graphics that you could share on social media if you wanted to. This is a preview of what that one looks like, and it's by county data. So there's the information for Fresno for September. And then there's also the market insights and statistics report, and then the market update report. So this is what we're going to look at right now and download to the downloads folder again. So again, we're going to the market update report. We're going to download that. When that's done, we will go ahead and open both of those. Alrighty. Go to my downloads file here. So you can see both of them are here. I'm going to open this first one. Enable the editing. So this is the full length listing presentation. This is one that is specific to a property, not just the grab and go listing presentation. So you can see that we've got the nice cover photo here because if you haven't actually gotten the listing yet, there's not photography available for it other than what you just drive by and take a picture with your smartphone or use a Google Earth photo, which is fine as long as you include the Google logo on the bottom. So I like having a nice cover with stock photography on it. And then you can use a lower resolution on the second page here about the specific property. So at this point, you could go in and make any edits to any of this stuff for your agent information, insert your photo and things like that, just by clicking on the boxes to get where you want. This presentation has 38 pages in it. I do not recommend that you use all 38 pages. The 38 pages are there because I was trying to make sure that everybody had everything that they wanted. I'd suggest trying to get this down to about 20 pages. There's going to be information in here that you may not want for a specific listing, or maybe like you'd use it on a different one, but not on this one type of situation, or you just plain don't like the page, which that's just fine too. If you have a current listing presentation and you want to insert some of that current listing presentation into this one, like you have some pages that you like to use for your stuff, you obviously can do that. These presentations are supposed to be a starting point for our agents. And then I heavily encourage you guys to go ahead and take ownership of it and make it yours and make it work for you. So if you see pages in here that you don't care for, just delete them. So like if you don't like this page, that's fine. You can get rid of it. You really won't hurt my feelings. The other thing is that there's duplicate pages in here. So looks like some of the editing was a little wonky here. There we go. So there's duplicate pages. There are 7 counties that we do business in as Coldwell Banker Premier Real Estate. So there's going to be 7 versions of this page. So delete the county that's not applicable to you. So if I'm going to go with San Luis County, I'm going to go ahead and delete, right click and delete Merced. I'm going to delete Fresno. I'm going to delete Madera, Tulare, and Santa Barbara. If you're an agent on the coast and you routinely work both back and forth in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo County, you might want to leave both of those in here because then you can use the presentation easily going back and forth. Same thing for like Fresno County. If you routinely work in like Fresno, Kings County, and Tulare County, kind of all 3 of that trifecta that's right there, you might want to consider just leaving those in your main presentation and going through and deleting as needed for the specific presentations. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and delete the extras and then delete Kings County. So right now I only have the San Luis Obispo County one. So like I said, go through, delete which ones you don't like. So this is a placeholder slide. This is from December of 2020. This is where you would insert the new market update. So I'm going to go ahead and pop back to my downloads folder and open that file too, so we can take a look at it. So this is the market update report for September of 2021. So let's say that the listing that I'm going to happens to be in Nipomo, California. So I'm going to use the sheet that best represents that area, which is actually going to be this 3rd one here, the San Luis Obispo County South, because it does have Nipomo's information in here. So I'm just going to right click on this and I'm going to copy it, the whole page. And then I'm going to go back over to the listing presentation here. And I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to go ahead and click paste, keep source formatting. So now I can go ahead and inserts in here. So some of the things may have gotten, the editing have gotten off because again, these things were created in a PDF format. So when they're converted over, sometimes the margins and stuff change. So if you see, you need to stretch these out a little bit to make sure that the editing is correct. And that just happens when you change back and forth between file formats sometimes. This font didn't translate well. You can see here. So if you want, you can leave it as is. You can change it to something different if you want. I think that's pretty close to what it was before because it was a script. So we can adjust that. We can make it a different size. Whatever floats your boat on that one. So overall, this looks fairly decent. Looks like most of the stuff translated well, other than the couple columns I had to change. So I'm going to delete this old one because that was just a placeholder for knowing where to put this information in there. So at this point, you could go through and delete pages. You can add pages. You can edit pages. Obviously, it's a full listing presentation, so you would fill out information about the pricing strategy. If you want to add in the CBX buyer locator home buyer profile information, again, that's in the buyer locator tool in desk. This is where that information would go. If you don't want to do that, all you would have to do is just delete that slide. So I recommend going through and finding out what works for you. Here's another one of those duplicate slides. This is the agent expertise slide where you would put your agent photo in here. And also your information. And again, this is just a placeholder for a photo. If you want to insert a photo, just go to Insert Pictures. Oops, I meant to hit this device. There we go. Insert Pictures, this device. And I had downloaded Shay's headshot earlier. So we can do that in here, and we can just size it down to be whichever one we want and get rid of that placeholder box. If you want to crop it, you can. I'm going to right click on this and select crop function. I'm going to crop this down a bit so it fits a little bit better into the area. And then same thing, you can copy and paste your agent information. There is a single agent page and there's also a teams page. If you don't have a team, just delete that. And then the same thing, you can copy and paste your reviews and testimonials in here for a single agent or for a team, what our customer is saying about us, and then delete the things that are not needed in here. Fill out the agent information on this back page. This is a space where if you send this to your client ahead of time or leave it after the appointment, they can write down questions that they might have for you. And then again, you can do any edits that you want. So when you're happy with the finished product of this, and again, I recommend getting it down to around 20 pages if you can, and you've inserted all of the photos and things like that that you would need, you would go to File, Save As. And we're going to save this to the desktop so it's easy to find. So now it's important to understand that if you're printing this as a booklet, so it's on the 11 by 17 folded in half and stapled, and not something that's on 8.5 by 11 like in some sort of book report type of folder, it needs to be printed as a PDF because Microsoft PowerPoint cannot print booklets. Cannot. So anytime you do any edits in PowerPoint, save it in PowerPoint so you can go back and make edits. But when you have the final version, you need to convert that to a PDF file. So I'm going to type this in as Shay Murphy listing presentation, or you could even type in the property address, 1234 Main Street listing presentation. You could save it as a PowerPoint if you want to come back in and make edits for it easily, if you're going to make some edits down the road. But you also need to make sure that you go Save As. You can use the Save As Adobe PDF here if you have Adobe installed on your computer, or you can just save it as a generic PDF right here, PDF. So Main Street LP PDF, and then we'll hit Save. So it's going to convert that file now to a PDF, so we should be able to print it in booklet form if we want to. So here is that same file. It opened up in Adobe Acrobat for me. You can see what it would look like if it was printed as a booklet here. Remember, when you have booklets to be printed, they need to have multiples of 4 pages to print and have the numbers end up evenly. So this isn't going to work because it's got 29 pages. So what's going to happen is there's going to be 3 blank pages at the end of this presentation that we would need to address before I printed this. But I'm just trying to show you what it will look like as you go through. So you can see where we have inserted the market update here. If it was the correct number of pages, which it's not. So I'm going to go through and delete one of them just for simplicity's sake so I can show you if it's correct number of pages, what it looks like. There we go. Actually, yeah. We go to File and go to Print. I'm going to select the right office printer here. So it's going to default to 11 by 8.5 inches, a regular standard piece of paper. We're going to change that to the document size of 11 by 17. And if we're printing a booklet, we can also have this to its center staple function down here. So now it's going to print as a booklet without big giant white margins. So you know that I deleted that last page because we had 29 pages. I deleted it so we had 28, of course, being a multiple of 4. So now it shows you that that first page that's going to be printed is going to have the cover and the back cover here, which is exactly what we want. If we had left that 29th page in there, then there would be 3 blank pages at the back of this presentation. So if you're just going to print it on 8.5 by 11 and staple it or put it in some sort of folder or binder, that's fine. You don't need to worry about the number of pages. If you're printing it in that booklet format that needs to be folded and stapled, needs to be divisible by 4. At this point, then you would hit print. So there you go. That's how you print out the booklets after inserting the market update reports in them.